To my surprise, you guys liked the last perfect bag I built, so here are more discs every disc golfer should be bagging. Or if you're smart, just convert your bag to this right now. Kicking off with the putting putters. Again, I could care less what you're actually putting with, except if you're using the pig. Like, what are you even doing? I'll just throw out the Banger GT for those thinking their putter is the reason for missing 15 footers. I'm right there with ya. The groove top might be weird at first, but as soon as you start hitting putts, you'll forget it's even there. But if you're a push putter, go with daggers. I know I used to talk mad shit about them, but the ringer at my local putting league doesn't miss with them. So I guess I gotta give the daggers credit. Oh, and fuck you, Joel. For throwing then, because you know how I feel about throwing your putting putters, it's a no-go for me. The Clash Discs Popcorn is a perfect straight flying putter that any disc golfer can find use for. I got hands smaller than Trump, so it's harder for me to recommend putters for every player, but this is my best bet. Plus, it holds any angle you put it on, which typically is a dumb way to describe a disc, but this is one of the few occasions it's true. And when it's beaten in, you have the perfect hyzer flip to straight putter. The Overstable approach disc has to be one of the most basic molds out there. Seriously, as long as it's actually overstable, you can manage any of them. So what I'm saying is, don't throw the tactic. I'm gonna recommend a Prodigy disc. I know, wild. The A3 will do anything you need it to do. Flat shots you need to fade hard, a disc to fight headwinds, or let's be real, most of you want Anheuser flex lines, and the A3 will have enough stability to battle even disc golf Jesus anti-flexes. For that straight shot you can trust on the tightest of gaps, even though we all know you're going in the woods, is the Axiom Hex. I advise against overspending for one that has a supposed cool stamp. Just get a normal one and beat it up to get nice flip-up shots. If it was my bag, I would get one flippy for shots you need the disc to hold Annie for, and another one that flies dead straight. Now you can have a similar feeling disc for different shots that aren't all that different. If that's not how you play disc golf, all power to you. I prefer having the same disc so I can put more trust into my game than how the disc is going to react. But guess what? Disc golf is awesome because you can do whatever the fuck you want. Seriously, if you want to bag every disc I say is shit, you can, and I would respect you for it. Your score won't, but I will, and isn't that what's important? I hate overstable mid-ranges. I don't see a purpose. I would just throw the A3, but if you need a bit more distance, we'll have a Cayman in there. Why? Because it's one of the only other mids I've bagged that wasn't more basic than a white woman's Instagram page. People gotta stop sleeping on the JLS. A super straight fairway out the box, and if you have the arm, a nice turning shot. This disc should be one of the most thrown in the bag, yet probably won't get thrown most rounds. You don't name a disc long straight driver for nothing, right? I mean, Millennium describes it like this. Both turns and fades. It is a very consistent disc that regularly lands where you're trying to throw. With a description like that, how can you not be in the bag? We're going to pair it with the Discraft Vulture. It supposedly flies like a beat-in Predator, but I'm not a dummy, so I've never thrown that. So I'll say it's a control driver that players can put power into and trust it won't turn over. It'll give a consistent fade at the end, but it won't come crashing down that's uncontrollable for slower arm speeds. And if it is, everything I say about this next disc, ignore it and replace it with the Vulture. Those with the forehand, this next disc will probably turn into your go-to chop throw, forcing that Anheuser and getting an S-turn flight. The FD3 might have a dumb name, but it is one heck of an overstable fairway. It will be able to handle all the power and more. Shots you need to crash and fade immediately, here you go. Or if there's an insane amount of headwind, trust that the FD3 will be able to manage it and still have an overstable finish. This is the time I should be talking about the Wild Honey and all of its awesomeness, except I do that every video. So instead, I'm putting the Clash Vanilla in the bag. 11 speeds are more awkward than getting hard while giving a presentation in the front of class. But the 6 glide and 2 turn allows even slow arm speed players a chance to bomb. Don't buy the white ones though. For some reason, they are super beefy. The red ones, however, will allow for natural turn. It slowly became Swiss Cheese's go-to distance disc, and with all the holes in his game, you should be just fine. But we wanted to go big, we got the Emperor in our bag. It's essentially the old A-Day Destroyer, which is more flippy than today's standards. The disc allows huge arms to unleash all their power while still trusting that it will come back at the end. I urge players to have a max distance disc that you can always count on coming back. The last thing you want is the disc to flip into a thrower. At least if it doesn't flip, it'll not only go farther, but it's more predictable than wherever the hell it wants to roll to. Just for tailwinds and for those that can't get the Emperor to flip for them naturally, we'll have a Pharaoh in the bag. It's exactly what I described the Emperor as, except if you max out for 350 feet. So whatever your skill is will determine which role the disc will fill. Headwinds are a thing, so we'll have an Excalibur in for those occasions, and to give every sidearm player another crutch from the Anheuser forehand. Not hating, just stating facts. Well, usually I'm okay with one Gimmick disc per bag, and I haven't hit that quota yet. So I'll go with the disc that I always tell people not to bag, because I don't see a purpose in having something as so extremely overstable. Or the concept of throwing it harder makes it more overstable. Like, what the shit is that supposed to mean? And why do I care? And those weird people throwing it upside down like that does any better. But for this one time, I'll let the Stego slide. What, did you think I was talking about something else? Not the Zone OS, did you? I would never hunk that waste of plastic anywhere near the inside of my bag. Sorry, but I'll never accept the fucking Zone OS as a disc some people should be bagging. Call that dark horse. There's another perfect disc golf bag for ya. I really enjoy making these vids, so when the video hits 100 likes, I'll drop part 3. But until then, make sure to hit subscribe to not miss out on another disc shaming video. Oh, and if you want to see some frisbees every disc golfer needs in their bag, check out the video right here.